There is need of everything. Once Sita said to her husband, Rama, it would be grand if every house in Ayodhya were a mansion. I find many houses old and dilapidated. But my dear, said Rama, if all the houses were beautiful ones, what would the masons do? Laughter. God has created all kinds of things. He has created good trees and poisonous plants and weeds as well. Among the animals there are good, bad and all kinds of creatures, tigers, lions, snakes and so on. Washing away the heart's impurities with tears. Neighbor. Sir, is it ever possible to realize God while leading the life of a householder? Master, certainly, but as I said just now, one must live in holy company and pray unceasingly. One should weep for God. When the impurities of the mind are thus washed away, one realizes God. The mind is like a needle covered with mud, and God is like a magnet. The needle cannot be united with the magnet unless it is free from mud. Tears wash away the mud, which is nothing but lust, anger, greed and other evil tendencies, and the inclination to worldly enjoyments as well. As soon as the mud is washed away, the magnet attracts the needle. That is to say, man realizes God. Only the pure in heart see God. A fever patient has an excess of the watery element in his system. What can quinine do for him unless that is removed? Why shouldn't one realize God while living in the world? But as I said, one must live in holy company, pray to God, weeping for His grace, and now and then go into solitude. Unless the plants on a footpath are protected at first by fences, they are destroyed by cattle. Need of a guru. Neighbor, then householders too will have the vision of God, won't they? Master, everybody will surely be liberated, but one should follow the instructions of the Guru. If one follows a devious path, one will suffer in trying to retrace one's steps. It takes a long time to achieve liberation. A man may fail to obtain it in this life. Perhaps he will realize God only after many births. Sages like Janak performed worldly duties. They performed them bearing God in their minds. As a dancing girl dances, keeping jars or trays on her head, haven't you seen how the women in northwest India walk, talking and laughing while carrying water pitchers on their heads? Neighbor, you just refer to the instructions of the Guru. How shall we find him? Master, anyone and everyone cannot be a Guru. A huge timber floats on the water and can carry animals as well. But a piece of worthless wood sinks if a man sits on it and drowns him. Therefore, in every age, God incarnates himself as the Guru to teach humanity. Sat Chit Anand alone is the Guru. What is knowledge, and what is the nature of his ego? God alone is the doer and none else. That is knowledge. I am not the doer. I am a mere instrument in his hand. Therefore I say, O Mother, thou art the operator and I am the machine. Thou art the indweller and I am the house. Thou art the driver and I am the carriage. I move as thou movest me. I do as thou makest me do. I speak as thou makest me speak. Not I, but thou, but thou. From Pran Krishna's house the master went to Colonel Vishwanath's and from there to the Lily Cottage. Chapter 3. Visit to Vidyasagar, August 5, 1882. Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was born in the village of Bir Singh, not far from Kamarpakur, Shri Ramakrishna's birthplace. He was known as a great scholar, educator, writer and philanthropist. One of the creators of modern Bengali, he was also well versed in Sanskrit grammar and poetry. His generosity made his name a household word with his countrymen, most of his income being given in charity to widows, orphans, indigent students and other needy people. Nor was his compassion limited to human beings. He stopped drinking milk for years so that the calves should not be deprived of it, and he would not drive in a carriage for fear of causing discomfort to the horses. He was a man of indomitable spirit, which he showed when he gave up the lucrative position of principal of the Sanskrit College of Calcutta because of a disagreement with the authorities. His affection for his mother was especially deep. One day, in the absence of a ferry boat, he swam a raging river at the risk of his life to fulfill her wish that he should be present at his brother's wedding. His whole life was one of utter simplicity. The title Vidyasagar, meaning Ocean of Learning, was given to him in recognition of his vast erudition. Master's visit to the scholar. Shri Ramakrishna had long wanted to visit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Learning from M that he was a teacher at Vidyasagar school, the master asked, "Can you take me to Vidyasagar? I should like very much to see him." M told Ishwar Chandra of Shri Ramakrishna's wish, and the Pandit gladly agreed that M should bring the master some Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. He only asked M what kind of Paramhamsa the master was, saying, "Does he wear an ochre cloth?" M answered, "No, sir, he is an unusual person. He wears a red bordered cloth and polished slippers. He lives in a room in Rani Rasmani's temple garden. In his room there is a couch with a mattress and mosquito net. He has no outer indication of holiness, but he does not know anything except God. Day and night he thinks of God alone." On the afternoon of August 5, the master left Dakshineshwar in a hackney carriage, accompanied by Bhavnath, M and Hazra. Vidyasagar lived in Badur Bagan in central Calcutta, about 6 miles from Dakshineshwar. On the way, Shri Ramakrishna talked with his companions, but as the carriage neared Vidyasagar's house, his mood suddenly changed. He was overpowered with divine ecstasy. Not noticing this, M pointed out the garden house where Raja Ram Mohan Roy had lived. The master was annoyed and said, "I don't care about such things now." He was going into an ecstatic state. The carriage stopped in front of Vidyasagar's house. The master alighted, supported by M, who then led the way. In the courtyard were many flowering plants. As the master walked to the house, he said to M like a child, pointing to his shirt button, "My shirt is unbuttoned. Will that offend Vidyasagar?" "Oh no," said M. "Don't be anxious about it. Nothing about you will be offensive. You don't have to button your shirt." He accepted the assurance simply like a child. Vidyasagar was about 62 years old, 16 or 17 years older than the master. He lived in a 2-story house built in the English fashion with lawns on all sides and surrounded by a high wall. After climbing the stairs to the second floor, Shri Ramakrishna and his devotees entered a room at the far end of which Vidyasagar was seated facing them with a table in front of him. To the right of the table was a bench. Some friends of their host occupied chairs on the other 2 sides. Vidyasagar rose to receive the master. Shri Ramakrishna stood in front of the bench with one hand resting on the table. He gazed at Vidyasagar as if they had known each other before and smiled in an ecstatic mood. In that mood he remained standing a few minutes. Now and then, to bring his mind back to normal consciousness, he said, "I shall have a drink of water." In the meantime, the young members of the household and a few friends and relatives of Vidyasagar had gathered around. Shri Ramakrishna, still in an ecstatic mood, sat on the bench. A young man, 17 or 18 years old, who had come to Vidyasagar to seek financial help for his education, was seated there. The master sat down at a little distance from the boy, saying in an abstracted mood, "Mother, this boy is very much attached to the world. He belongs to thy realm of ignorance." Vidyasagar told someone to bring water and asked M whether the master would like some sweet meats also. Since M did not object, Vidyasagar himself went eagerly to the inner apartments and brought the sweets. They were placed before the master. Bhavnath and Hazra also received their share. When they were offered to M, Vidyasagar said, "Oh, he is like one of the family. We need not worry about him." Referring to a young devotee, the master said to Vidyasagar, "He is a nice young man and is sound at the core. He is like the river Falgu. The surface is covered with sand, but if you dig a little, you will find water flowing underneath." After taking some of the sweets, the master with a smile began to speak to Vidyasagar. Meanwhile, the room had become filled with people. Some were standing and others were seated. Master: "Ah, today at last I have come to the ocean. Up till now I have seen only canals, marshes, or a river at the most. But today I am face to face with the Sagar, the ocean." All laugh. Vidyasagar smiling: "Then please take home some salt water." Laughter. Master: "Oh no, why salt water? You aren't the ocean of ignorance. You are the ocean of Vidya, knowledge. You are the ocean of condensed milk, all love. Vidyasagar, well, you may put it that way. The Pandit became silent. Shri Ramakrishna said, your activities are inspired by Sattva. Though they are Rajasic, they are influenced by Sattva. Compassion springs from Sattva. Though work for the good of others belong to Rajas, then yet this Rajas has Sat for its basis and is not harmful.